Hello everyone, good morning. Today is 26th of March and welcome to the newspaper analysis. So guys, in the today's video, we are going to discuss the entire Hindu newspaper and the explainer PDF that I will be using here. You can download the PDF from the Telegram channel. Now before moving on, first of all, let's see the overview of the entire newspaper in order to understand that which articles will be important for our examination. So this is the page number 1, and on the page number 1 the first article that we can see, it talks about the peace in border areas key to normal ties. So the foreign minister of China has visited India, and in this respect certain takeaways have been mentioned in this particular article. We'll see it. Birbhum deaths, CBI takes over probe after the High Court order. So in recently there have been the deadly killings into the Birbhum. Okay, in that respect this article is there. However, with respect to UPSC, nothing is there. The substance is not there in this article. Fine. Then guys, the Supreme Court allows UPSC aspirant with disabilities to apply for the IPS. Now guys, over the past over in recent times there have been a kind of a controversy that there was a blanket ban that was issued that the people with the disabilities cannot opt for the IPS. Now it has been said that all kind of disabilities are not such which will restrict the job, so therefore even with the people with disabilities can apply. Okay, so this is a kind of a new change that has come. Then further moving on in this particular direction guys, after that the city section, Delhi's per capita income third highest in India, not very much relevant for your examination. Okay, then guys after that BJP sticks to tax free demand for the film. Okay, mainly such kind of articles are not important, and then advertisements etc have been there. So guys, till the editorial section much of relevant news are not there, and then we reach to the editorial page, and the first article, India's complex position on Islamophobia. So it talks about a recent resolution moved into the UNGA. We'll see this article. Then forging a social contract for data. We'll see this particular article also. Heartening milestone. So this article talks about the recent performance with respect to the India's exports. We'll see this article. Then a new era. Now guys, it is talking about the IPL. It says that IPL is just a money making, is more than a money making machine, and all those things are there. Clear. Then further moving on, so today is a Saturday. On Saturday we have the ground zero report. Now guys, this particular ground zero report is about the Birbhum killings into the Bengal which have happened, where the 8 people have been burnt alive. Okay, so basically this is containing the ground report as from the view of the people what happened on that day. With respect to UPSC substances, the article is not important. Then guys, today is a Saturday, so in this on Saturday we don't have even the text and the context page that now comes after the editorial. So text and context is not there. Then online voting for NRIs under consideration. We'll see what is being talked about. Opposition calls for law to regulate cryptocurrency. Now guys, when we talk about the cryptocurrency, from past few months it was being expected that the cryptocurrencies will be regulated. Government came out that 30% tax will be imposed, but proper regularization or a bill as what is the status of cryptocurrency, it has been missing. So the demands have been made. Clear. After that moving on, new criminal procedure bill to be tabled. So guys, this particular article talks about certain bills that will be tabled next week. So once they will come, we'll see that what bills have been there. After that guys, moving on, MP moots plan to revive golden age of ancient India. So it has been said that into the ancient times much of spectacular achievements have been there by many of the thinkers, scientists into the past. We need to revive the centers which can leverage onto such kind of findings, but it has been said that it is nothing but a way to establish the Brahminical domination. So such thing has been provided in this article, nothing important with respect to our examination. GSLV's last year mission may have failed due to a valve leak. So why it got failed, there was a valve leak, all these things not important for our exam. Then guys, moving on, after that in this particular direction, UDAN gives girl wings to a better future in rural Rajasthan. We'll see this UDAN scheme. Then extra attempt for UPSC exam is not feasible. So there were the petitions that because of the COVID-19 pandemic, many of the aspirants were not able to give their exam. They were sick or they were not able to reach to their centers, so they wanted an extra attempt. It is not feasible. It has been provided by government. After that other kind of articles, political news etc, not very much important. Then guys, on to the world page. Okay, US allies plan to turn off Russian gas. So into the context of UK, Ukraine, Russia, everyday articles are coming, not needed to go and see everyday issue. Then guys, the Sri Lankan economic crisis have been discussed. Okay, already yesterday we have taken a detailed article that how since 2010 the economic crisis of Sri Lanka was brewing. Then guys, after moving on business, RBI sets geotagging rules for payment touch points. Okay, fuel prices rising on Ukraine. So we have seen that in a series in a row, every day the prices of petrol and diesel have been increased successively. So the government is justifying it. Fine. Then guys, moving on, other kind of data center evolutionary details are there, not very much relevant for our exam. So this was about the overview of the entire newspaper, and now let's take all these articles one by one in the detail. Now, first of all, we'll start with the GS quote as we do in our every class. So today we'll take the quote from the Greek philosopher Aristotle. He says, dignity does not consist in possessing honors, but in deserving them. Now, possessing the honors, fine, you can possess certain honors by the virtue of force. Okay, so just merely possessing the honors does not entail the dignity. Real dignity comes when you deserve certain honor. Okay, so the deserving and then entailing it is more important. We can use this particular quote in GS paper number 4, ethics. Now, moving on, first of all, the MCQ answers for the yesterday. So question number 1 correct answer is C. Question number 2 correct answer is B. Clear? You can just read the description here. Guys, please, as every day we are asking the question, please make an effort and write the correct answers. If there will not be proper response, we have to discontinue this particular thing, because only if there is a kind of a need, then only we can continue it. Okay, so if you want that it should be continued, please respond on the questions. Okay, now taking the MCQ for today. So the MCQ is with respect to the question number 1 is with respect to the tuberculosis. Fine, so World TB Day has been celebrated. Fine, please read the statement and mark the correct option. After that, moving on, the question number 2 is with respect to the sealed cover jurisprudence. Read the statement and identify the correct option. You can pause the video and can check it out. Now, taking up the first article. The first article, it has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, page number 1, and it talks about the India-China relation. Therefore, it can be seen under the light of GS paper number 2. Now, understand guys, see, first of all, there are, as we discuss the articles, 2 type of articles will be coming in our newspaper. Article number A, which will directly be relevant for our newspaper, for our exam. Okay, directly you can use it on some question, or there on them question can be framed. There are certain other kind of articles which might not be directly relevant, but they will help you in understanding other things. For example, when we talk about the international relations, every article is not important, but reading it builds up your understanding, okay, as how the things are moving. Now, this particular article talks about the recent discussion that had happened between the Chinese foreign minister and by the Minister of External Affairs of India. Clear? So the Chinese foreign minister has visited India, and here he had talked on to the boundary matters with our external affairs minister and the NSA. Okay. Now, what have been the discussion points? We'll see this particular thing. First of all, we have seen that since 2020, the boundary disputes have become intense, and after particularly the Galwan violence, the situation is very much tense. In the Ladakh sector, more than 1 lakh of soldiers from the side of India and China have been stationed. Now guys, meanwhile, 15 rounds of commander level talks have happened. After that, there have been 8 rounds of the special working mechanism on consultation and coordination, but nothing concrete has come. Many of the friction points have been solved, but still there are many of the disputed territories that are there. Now the Chinese foreign minister, he had said that India and China should talk on the 3-point approach. What is this 3-point approach that he had discussed? Number 1, he had said that both the countries, that is the India and China, need to talk keeping in mind the long-term vision. Now into the long term, both countries are very much important, and not the conflict will make the Asian century, rather the cooperation will make the Indian century, the African century. So both countries are important for each other, and they need to cooperate on multilateral issues. Number 2, it has been provided that the India and China should revive the China India Plus initiative. Now, what is this China India Plus initiative? This initiative was agreed in the Wuhan meet that happened between the Indian Prime Minister as well as with the Chinese counterpart, the President Xi Jinping. As a part of this China India Plus initiative, it was decided that both the countries will support the infrastructural projects, developmental projects into the Asian region, and the countries will coordinate the growth of the entire region. But because of this pandemic and because of the because of the relations, low end of relations that we are seeing right now, this is not being talked. So this is something that should be revived. It has been talked about. Moreover, the Chinese foreign minister, he had also said that the China does not wants to make a unipolar Asia where only China is powerful. Rather, China is looking forward to make a multipolar Asia, and traditional role of India is respected by the China. This is something which has been said, but we see as how what they are saying and what they are doing are not in coherence. Then the third point that the Beijing has emphasized is that, see guys, now I will little bit explain this particular issue in more detail. So first of all, what China had said that there are the different kind of disputes in the countries, and every type of dispute is to be discussed in a particular platform. Now the China had said that, see, right now there is a boundary dispute between India and China going on. China says that it has a proper place in the bilateral relations, and only at that place it needs to be discussed. For example, guys, what had happened as the boundary dispute is going on, we are also trying to restrict the economic trade with the China. We say that until the boundary dispute will not be resolved, the economic relations cannot be normalized. India says that both the economic and strategic relations go hand in hand. If you don't treat our boundary in a proper manner, we will restrict on the economic relations. We had made certain bans onto the Chinese apps also. Is it clear? Now China says that no, it is not a correct thing. Rather, economic relation is different, boundary matter is different. Discuss the boundary matter at a different platform, but economic relations need to be carried. But India does not agree with this particular point, and now also India had said that no, you cannot expect that the economic relations will be normalized until and unless the boundary dispute is resolved. This is something that has been said, and this is a very, I'll say that it is a very balanced and kind of a very good response that has been given by India. You cannot expect to take the economic advantages and at the same time you are doing, you are carrying forward, you are dragging this particular boundary matter also. No, that cannot happen. So this is all which has come in this particular article, and now guys we'll move to the next article. Okay, so this particular article has been taken again from the Hindu newspaper, and it will be important with respect to the social justice, GS paper number 2. Fine, the women welfare, the girls welfare, as well as this article will also be important in the issues related to the education, again in the GS paper number 2. So this article is talking about the UDAN project. Now guys, first of all, the UDAN project, see, the UDAN, there is one UDAN scheme also for the air connectivity. That UDAN is different. This is another UDAN. Now this UDAN project is launched by the Rajasthan government in association with the IPE Global. Now under this UDAN project, the girls are being identified who had dropped out of their education because of the poverty or because of some other compelling reasons. These girls are being provided the scholarship so that they can again continue their studies. Now guys, when we talk about the Rajasthan has a notorious distinction that there are large number of child marriages that happen. Because of these child marriages, many of the girls have to drop out from the education. Moreover, presently in the times of the COVID-19, large number of families, they have seen that their incomes have dipped substantially, and because of that they cannot send their children to the schools, and when the children's they have to be stopped in sending to the school, the girl is the first child who takes the toll. So the girls are not being sent to the school. Okay, so in order to overcome two type of problem, number one attitudinal problem, and number two the economic problem, the UDAN project is emphasizing. How it is emphasizing on both of these ends, we are going to see. Number one, what it is doing, it is generating the awareness about the scholarship programs. It is generating the awareness about the scholarship programs, and the money is being given as a scholarship to the girls belonging to the scheduled caste, scheduled tribes, OBC community, minority community, as well as the daughters of the laborers who are holding the shramik cards, their daughters are being provided the monetary support so that they can start their education. So the economic support is being given. And guys, secondly, the behavioral change and the attitudinal change is also being brought by the UDAN project. What they are doing, they are holding a continuous dialogue with the Panchayati Raj institution, and they are identifying the dropout girls. The volunteers are going to the family and they are sensitizing the parents that what is the importance of the education, and in case if the girls are being married, then what are the dangers of the early pregnancy, how it is how it is an offense. All such kind of sensitization is being given. Counseling is being given to the parents as well as the students that how they are to be sent back to the school. So attitudinal or behavioral and the economic support is being provided here. Moreover guys, under this UDAN project, the interventions are also being made, and the girls are being taught with respect to the adolescent sexual and reproductive health. Education is also being given to the girls. So this is a kind of a holistic program aimed at the empowerment of the girls, and it can be a very good case study which should be emulated by the other states also. They should also implement such kind of initiatives. Very good, you can mention it in your answers also. So that is all guys about this article. Now we'll move to the next article. Heartening milestone. Now this article is taken from the editorial section of the Hindu newspaper, and it will be important with respect to the GS paper number 3, the state of Indian economy. State of Indian economy. Now understand what we are discussing. We are going to discuss in this particular article. See, guys, we have already seen in the yesterday's newspaper analysis that India had achieved a landmark. India had achieved a milestone. What milestone India has achieved? For the first time, India's exports have reached to $400 billion in 1 year. Last budget we have taken a target that we will make our exports reach the point of $400 billion. In less than 1 year, 9 days short of 1 year, we have reached this particular target. This is highest that has happened up till now, even more than the pre-pandemic levels. So we have achieved this particular target. Very good. Why such kind of target has achieved? It is because of that engineering goods number 1, the machineries, engineering equipments, fine, engineering goods, they have registered a high export growth. 50% year on year growth has been achieved. Year on year means that last year and this year, when we compare the data of this year with the last year, there is the 50% growth that has been there. After that, the apparel sector, the garment sector also had registered the growth. 30% increase in the exports in the apparel or the ready-made garments have been seen. Guys, many a times I have said you that India wants to focus on to the low-end manufacturing. Even in the economic survey 2 years back, there was a chapter that is the shoes and jeans. What is the shoes and jeans? Low-end manufacturing, that is manufacturing of shoes, manufacturing of clothing, how we can supply it and our export can increase. So because of the garments, 30% export increase have been there. Thirdly, petroleum products, they also are the standout performer. Now, why the petroleum products are the standout performer? There is a reason for this particular thing. Today we see that the crude oil prices have increased, and because of the crude oil prices have increased, see what is the strategy of India. What India does? First of all, India imports the crude. Okay, then this particular crude is processed. We have one of the largest refineries of the world. We process it, make it into high value products, and then we export this particular same crude. Now as the crude's valuation, the prices have increased, the final good that we are exporting, its price has also increased, and because of that particular thing, we have made an export of $400 billion. This is something that have happened. So this is something. Moreover guys, the shipments or the goods produced by India's refinery, their value has increased by 150%. Then after that, next thing it has been provided that this particular achievement is good, particularly because of the fact that during the same time we have seen that there were a lot of logistical challenges also. There was the worldwide container shortage that happened. Moreover, there were the congestion at the ports. Fine, even in that thing also India's exports have increased. It is a laudable and very good thing. But there are certain concerns also in this particular direction. What are the concerns? Concern number one is that, see, actually the exports increased, but the imports have also increased, and the imports have outpaced the exports, and the imports, they have increased so much that our trade deficit has reached to $175 billion, which is very high. What is trade deficit? Trade deficit means that, you see, we are doing both things, import as well as export. So let's say we have exported around $400 billion, but we imported $575 billion. So $175 billion is a trade deficit that is there. Now guys, whenever the trade deficit is there, we are importing more, obviously the payments have to be done in the terms of dollars, and that thing will reduce our foreign exchange. $400 billion we earned in foreign exchange, but $575 billion in foreign exchange we have to give. So this is something that is to be looked forward. Moreover guys, there are the 30 broad categories that have been listed by the Ministry of Commerce, where there have been a decline in the export. So why the third categories have seen a decline? This is also which is needed to be identified. Then guys, next thing that is coming here is that, see, capital goods such as the machineries, plant machineries, capital goods, they have been exported by the India to many of the countries, particularly in the Africa, Latin America, okay, Middle East, okay, and even into the developed countries also the capital goods are exported by India. But around the world, the purchase of capital goods have gone down, and the Indian businesses, they are not making the fresh investments for the manufacturing of the capital goods and related products. So this is a kind of a concern which is needed to be addressed. Moreover, now because of the war that is going on between the Ukraine and Russia, and the sanctions that have been imposed on Russia, there are fresh problems that are coming. Many of the exporters, they were exporting high value commodities to the Ukraine and Russia. That thing is a kind of a problem. Moreover guys, as because of the Russian and European economy are very much linked, if the Russian sanctions will continue with the Europe also, our exports will get declined. So we need to find out certain arrangements. Clear? Few days back we have seen that the ruble rupee agreement was being discussed. It is needed to be revived as soon as possible. Clear? Russian banks, they have been banned from the SWIFT. Moreover, the Russian banks, they might not accept the money in the dollars, because the USA is imposing the sanctions onto it. So in the rupee and ruble, the trade can be carried. So this is a possibility that can be explored. Moreover, few days back we have seen that the Russia and India can trade in yuan, that is the Chinese currency. So what on that thing can be done? This is something also that is to be explored. So this is all guys about this particular article. I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. India's complex position on Islamophobia. Now this editorial is again taken from the Hindu newspaper, and this we can use with respect to the GS paper number 1, issues of secularism. Okay, now moving on guys, first of all, before going in this particular article, I will tell you some of the background. Now see, the background goes like this, that what had happened in the United Nations General Assembly, a resolution was sponsored by the OIC, that is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Now this particular resolution provided that we need to observe a day to combat Islamophobia. Now first of all, let's understand what is Islamophobia. So guys, the Islamophobia means the fear and the prejudice and the discrimination against the Islam and Islamic people. Around the world, the Muslims, they have complained that they have witnessed the negative attitudes towards them. They have been stereotyped as they are the ones who bring violence and all such kind of things. Their faith has been brought under a question, particularly after the 9/11 terrorist attacks that have happened. Around the world, there is a fear, negative attitude towards the Islam, and this is called as the Islamophobia. Now this Islamophobia is not a good thing. It is needed to be fought. It is needed to be combat. So therefore, the United Nations General Assembly now had adopted this particular resolution, and March 15 will be observed as International Day International Day to combat the Islamophobia. Who sponsored this particular resolution? OIC, that is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. OIC, that is the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. It has sponsored this thing. Now, many of the countries have accepted it, but what is first of all the India's stand? What has been the India's stand? So guys, India's stand was this, that India had said that why we are just talking about the Islamophobia. There is many other religions also against which the phobias have been there. So India said that rather than the Islamophobia, we need to adopt a broader term, that is the religiophobia. Even it has been seen that the people belonging from Hinduism, they have seen the violence. We have seen that during the Holocaust, the Jews were subjected. Okay, so many other religions also, they have against them also there are the negative prejudices, there is the hatredness. So religiophobia is something that is needed to be adopted, not just the Islamophobia. Moreover guys, what India had said that we have a very good track record in protecting the different minority rights. The example has been given that the Buddhists, they have been given the protection when they ran away from the Tibet after the China acquired the Tibet. Is it clear? So the India had a very good track record. Now understand that this particular article is first of all little bit critically analyzing the statement by which was made by the Indian envoy at the UNGA. The article is saying that there was no reference as what we have done for the protection of Indian Muslims. We have one of the largest community of Muslims living in India, but India did not talk down to that. This is something a critical evaluation of the statement that has been made. However, not important for our examination, so we'll not go into that particular point. So India had said that not just the Abrahamic faiths, but other religions are also being seen a negative stereotyping. So we need to adopt a word, religiophobia. Now the European Union, they have opposed the resolution. India opposed because we are not comfortable with terminology. European Union has also opposed the resolution. Why? They say that we emphasize more on individual rights and individual freedom. Okay, why you are equating the individual as a religion only? Okay, every individual is important, be whatever religion's part it is, every individual is important. So they say that we don't want to equate the protection with religious communities, rather everyone is important. So they have not supported the resolution. Now guys, in the article it has been said that see, the China has given a very interesting stand. What China has done? China has supported the resolution. Now this particular thing is little bit strange. Why? Guys, understand that China itself has a very disturbing track record. China's treatment of Muslim, particularly the Uyghur Muslim living into the Xinjiang region, fine, the China has placed them into the concentration camp like or the re-education camp like situations, and it is treating them in a very bad way. Fine, so nothing has been talked on to that particular thing. Even the OIC, who had sponsored this particular resolution, has not brought that how China is exploiting the Muslims there into the Uyghur camps. Clear, world countries are very openly saying that the human right violation is happening. Nothing has been discussed on that particular front. So this is what has been provided into this particular article. Guys, I hope that you have understood it, and now we'll move to the next article. Forging a social contract for data. Clear? This particular article will see under the light of GS paper number 3, data rights. Clear? Now, forging a social contract for a data. So this particular article talks about the draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022, which has recently been released by the MITI, that is the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Now guys, this draft policy, that is the draft India Data Accessibility and Use Policy 2022, provides that India needs to bring out a robust mechanism for harnessing the public sector data for the informed decision making. Now guys, understand that when we talk about the data, there could be the personal data. Personal data can be attributed with an individual. For example, you, your name, your date of birth, your email address, details of your bank account, your credit card number. This is all your personal data. Clear? Then there is a non-personal data. Non-personal data is one which is not attributed to any individual. For example, information about legal entities, okay, a company's registration number, okay, or the data as how much traffic is there on a particular road at a particular time. All this is the non-personal data. Now, see, this non-personal data, now this particular policy, the draft India accessibility and use policy, it is saying that the non-personal data is needed to be kept into the public domain, and onto the basis of this non-personal data, many of the good decisions can be made, many of the good steps can be taken. See, there is the open government data philosophy. Open government data philosophy, what is this open government data philosophy? It provides that we need to promote the transparency, accountability and value creation by making government data available to all. Government is collecting so much of the data. For example, government is collecting the health data, government is collecting the demographic data, data with respect to the economic growth. Much of the data government is collecting. Government need to make this data open to all people so that the stakeholders can make out their policies on it. Now guys, basically it has been provided that when we talk about the open government data right now, when we talk about this particular policy, this policy wants to provide the data to public. Moreover, the obstacles, the bottlenecks that were there with respect to the data, they are also needed to be reduced. For example, there is a fragmentation of data sets into the departmental silos. There is absence of data anonymization tools. See, a lot of data is being collected by the different departments, so the data is there into the silos. Fine, now the data is not being consolidated at one place, and when the data is too much fragmented, the data does not make much of a sense, so the data is fragmented. Now this problem is to be overcome as a part of this draft India data accessibility and use policy. Secondly, it has been provided that there are no proper data anonymization tools. Fine, so this problem is also to be overcome. Now what is the data anonymization and what type of tools we are not having? Understand this particular thing. Guys, suppose that government had collected a lot of data with respect to the people's health. Lot of data with respect to the people's health. For example, Mr. A is having some disease, Mr. B is having some disease, Mr. C is having some disease, Mr. D is having some disease. So the disease of A, disease of B are attached with their identity. Now guys, what we can do, we can also make an observation from studying the population that which disease is more prevalent. For example, Mr. A and Mr. C and Mr. D are all having the X disease. Mr. A, Mr. C and Mr. D are having the X disease. Now the X disease is something which is widely prevalent in our population. Now what you need to do while you are providing this particular data, you need to anonymize the data. You need to strike off that this data is actually collected by Mr. A or by Mr. C or by Mr. D. So the data is to be anonymized. The identifiers are to be removed. And this data anonymization is done by the anonymization tools. Government is not having proper anonymization tools. This is something that has been provided. Now guys, in this particular policy, the article says that there are certain problems. Number one, it has been said that this particular policy is trying to upgrade the open government data vision. Okay, it is good. Moreover, this same thing has been also talked into the National Data Sharing and Accessibility Policy of 2012. Okay, good thing that we are trying to provide the open data. But guys, at the same time, there are certain problems that has been there. Data supported social transformation that we are trying to bring will not come. Number one, understand this particular thing. See, what we are doing, we are keeping the non-personal data into the open domain. Non-personal data is being provided into the open domain. Now the number A problem that is there is that, see, up till now government has not came out with the anonymization standards, that how the privacy risks can be reduced. Clear? There are still the identifiers even into the non-personal data which can be used to convert the non-personal data into the personal data again back. So there are loopholes that are there which government has not addressed. Anonymization standards have not been there. Moreover, up till now there have not been the privacy policy okay, or the privacy bill, privacy policy has not been implemented, had not been passed up till now. In this particular capacity, even this non-personal data might be misused. So this is something that has been talked about here. Now guys, the article further it is talking about is that basically into the policy, the government is believed to be the owner of the data. It is a kind of a wrong assertion. Rather, government should be made as the trustee of the data. What government is being made? It is being made owner. Rather than owner, government needs to be made as a trustee of the data. This is something that has been provided. Fine. Moreover guys, next problem that is coming here is that how exactly onto the basis of data the decisions will be taken, how exactly the concrete steps, that how the social transformation will be brought by this particular data, it has been missing into the policy. So this is something that has been talked about. So the article says that we need to have built a new social contract onto the basis of data, where the social commons of data are governed as an inappropriate commons. Okay, it has been provided that we need to come out with a new social contract where we need to provide that the people who are contributing the data, they are at the center concern. Okay, the government needs to be the custodian, the trustee, and not right away the owner of the data. So this is something that has been provided here. Now guys, I will not recommend you to go too much deep into this particular article, rather just try to build an overall understanding on it. So that is all about it, and now we'll move to the next article. Online voting for NRIs under consideration, says Kiran Rijiju. Now in the article nothing much thing has come. It was a discussion that took place into the parliament. The government has provided that we are working very hard in order to make the voting more transparent in India, moreover more inclusive. Government had said that they are exploiting the possibility that how the online voting can be given to the NRIs, non-resident Indians. Clear? As of now, if the NRIs, the non-resident Indians, if they have to vote, they have to go into an embassy or they have to physically come. But how the online voting can be given to them, the government is working on it. Moreover, government is also working on linking Aadhaar card with the electoral rolls to check the fraudulent voting. As of now, connecting your Aadhaar and electoral ID card is not compulsory, it is a voluntary thing, but government is trying to make it compulsory. So by this, we are trying to make our voting more transparent, more inclusive. So this is something that has been come, and it was just a comment that was made into the parliamentary discussion. Nothing apart from this is there in this article. RBI sets geotagging rules for payment touch points. Now guys, see, particularly after the 2016, the demonetization that had happened, we have become more and more less cash economy we have become. Now guys, when you go onto a shop, you find that there is the point of sale terminal. Okay, on this point of sale terminal, you will swipe your card and you can make a cashless transaction. Now what RBI had asked, RBI had said that basically whatever point of sale terminals are there, quick response codes are there, the banks as well as non-bank institution need to provide the information to RBI from time to time. See, understand this particular thing. Basically guys, suppose this is our country. Okay, there is one particular region where there are a high concentration, high density of these point of sale terminals. Fine, every shop owner is having this POS machine and he is accepting the payment through a card, let's say. But there are certain other areas also, let's say, where there are very less number of POS terminals that are there. So what RBI had given the instruction to the banks as well as the non-bank payment operators that from that they have to actually maintain and they have to submit to the RBI the geographical locations of these touch points onto the regular basis, in which area these POS are located, which area is having more POS, which area is having less POS. You need to make a kind of a record and you have to update this particular information to the Reserve Bank of India. The geotagging rules have been notified. Why? Because then we can identify the areas where there is less density of POS. Why less density is there? What to be done so that it can be increased? Such steps then can be taken up. Is it clear? So it has been provided that actually the robust payment acceptance infrastructure so that it is available and accessible across the length and the breadth of the country, we need to have this geo-tagging of payment systems. Okay, we can then monitor it, okay, and can work on it. So this is something that has come. So guys, just a one-liner point that in order to make India a less cash economy, these are certain steps that have been taken. So that is all about this particular article. And guys, with this we come to an end to the today's newspaper analysis. Now we will be meeting on Monday, okay, and because the Sunday the editorial does not comes, and onto the Sunday essentially the things that we have taken, they are only repeated. So Sunday we don't have the analysis. Now we'll be meeting on Monday. Till then guys, please take care of yourselves, and if you have liked the video, please do hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you so much.